everyone, welcome back to Cincinnati Zoo Tales. I'm Jenna.
And I'm Mark.
And we're here with a group of Team Fiona today because we are celebrating Fiona's 6th birthday.
Yeah, birthday party today in the conference room in Africa. We're celebrating Fiona's birthday, big 6th. And we've got, like you said, most of the Africa team here. I'm excited to talk about Fiona because we've got a good perspective here. We've got, Teresa, Jenna, and Wendy, who are all original Team Fiona members. Ariana and I, who kind of came in a little bit later, but obviously still obsessed with Fiona. Yeah. So thank you guys. I know we've got the whole team here. Thank you guys for taking the time out of the day to join us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
We were saying earlier that it feels like we just did this. I swear we just did a recording about her 5th birthday.
Yeah, it seems like a month ago. Yeah.
Time flies, as they say. So some of you submitted questions through Instagram, and we were just going to answer some of those and talk about Fiona's birthday. For anyone joining us on Facebook Live today, send in your questions. We're happy to listen. Again, this is coming out on Fiona's birthday, January 24th. She was born January 24th, 2017 at 29 pounds, about 6 weeks premature. We weren't sure she would survive, and so she was hand-raised. And Wendy, myself, and Teresa spent a lot of time during those crazy, difficult, scary days at first raising her. Teresa spent nights with her, and it was a wild ride getting here, and we are, shocked, but also very thankful that people still care so much about Fiona 6 years later. We didn't really think it would last, so thanks for caring.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll jump into some of these questions. Like Jenna said, we got a ton of submissions. Thank you guys for the support and the shout-outs to Fiona. We appreciate all of them. We're sorry we did not have time to answer every question. We got tons of them, but a lot of repeats. We think we can address a lot of, or just touch on a lot of the subject matter and about Fiona and the bloat that we have now. A lot of good stuff, but I think the first one we have to get to, Jenna, I'll start with you. What's the tea on Fiona and Tucker right now?
Oh, gosh.
Fiona and Tucker, this is a bit of a new, different relationship that they've kind of formed in the last few months. What's going on with them?
So now that Fiona is 6, we've been saying for years, hippos are reproductively mature between 5 and 7. And this year, a little bit before Fiona's 6th birthday, she became reproductively mature, as far as we know, based off of behaviors we're seeing and the fact that Tucker is trying and is mounting her and breeding her. So a lot of people were very caught off guard. I thought it was hilarious to hear Teresa tell us today that she does not want to watch it. It is like her little girl, and I thought it was sort of funny. It was a lot to take in when we got so many comments about this. I won't lie. It was a little overwhelming how passionate all of you are about this subject. But Fiona is healthy, and it's a good thing that we're seeing this, honestly. This means when she's, of the right size, we could have her successfully breed, potentially, and have a baby of her own. We weren't sure, since she was premature, how her body would grow and develop, and it seems like it's doing everything that it should. So seeing Fiona and Tucker breed is, in a way, a good thing. Do we want her to have a baby right now? Absolutely not. She's a little small, and we also just don't want any more hippos right now to be responsible space-wise and just for the species survival plan. But Fiona and Tucker are not related. I just want to emphasize that. Tucker was brought here on a breeding wreck for BB and in the future Fiona. Again, they're not related. We do not call him her stepfather here. He is a bloat member and a potential mate. So that's my tea on Tucker. But Teresa, just share your bit about that.
I know it's normal and it's fine. I know that, logically, but seeing it would be a little bit weird to me. But, I've seen Tucker and BB breed, and, that's normal and kind of interesting because you don't get to see that kind of stuff very often, but with Fiona, it feels a little bit weird.
That's just because your connection with Fiona?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Teresa's right there with all of you. Does it weird you out, Wendy?
No. I feel like literally from the day Tucker arrived, I've been trying so hard to tell people don't call him stepdaddy. It's going to get real weird in a year or two. And then it got weird a lot quicker than that for some people. But for those of us who fully understood and were listening for the educational message, we knew this is exactly what we expected to happen. So just like Jenna said, seeing it happen is indications that she's healthy and she's growing and maturing in the way we want her to, and all good things. And most importantly, they're getting along, right? At the end of the day, that's the most important thing, is that all 4 of these hippos are doing well together, which is obviously our top priority.
For sure. And that's one of those things that, in order to be a successful zoo and a bloat of hippos here, they need to get along. We were worried about that, bringing Tucker in and how it would affect everyone's dynamics and all of that. And yes, it's weird. Fiona's our baby, and we're so used to that. And ultimately, the fact that BB had Fritz, she needs to be separated from Fiona sometimes. And now that Fiona and Tucker get along so well, it makes us all feel better that they are, like, they're buddies, they like to hang out together, and they get along, so that's much better than if they didn't.
Right.
And in the future, maybe Fiona will get to be a mom. But again, we're not pushing for that. We're just okay with the fact that they're breeding.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Does it weird you out, Mark?
No, not so much, because like you all said, like that was kind of the expectations we had bringing her in, was we knew that this was going to be the case down the road in the future. It did happen a little bit before I think we were expecting, but you were kind of mentally, at least for me, I was kind of mentally preparing myself. I also don't have the connection that you three necessarily had with Fiona. Like, I wasn't there the day she was born, hands on her, raising her. She doesn't feel like she's my child, you know, the way she does for you guys. Like,
Teresa's like, I didn't sleep because of that.
No, it's not that weird.
I
It's
know,
just
I just thought it was funny because I hadn't heard you say that before. But yeah. And Ariana, I could be wrong, but were you the one working when it first happened?
I don't believe it was. I think it was Molly.
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought it was one of you, but so anyways, it wasn't like we were thinking, oh, it'll happen today. So that wasn't that was unexpected.
But we were prepared enough that we had her on birth control ahead of introducing her to Tucker, because we were so aware that this was a possibility, and we were very sure that we were not ready for her to get pregnant now. So this didn't catch any of us off guard by any means.
Yeah. It was weird. Like, it happened on my weekend, so the way I found out was through social media.
Yeah, that's the worst.
oh man, speaking of birth control, you mentioned we had Fiona on birth control ahead of time because this was something we were aware could happen. Another question we got, how do you go about giving a hippo birth control? Jenna, you're probably the one that does it most often. Do you want to comment on it?
Sure, it's very simple, thankfully. Some animals are harder, and there are many different forms, but our hippos get a few pieces of white bread with a liquid birth control that we just measure out with a syringe and squirt onto the bread, and we toss it in their mouth. So hippos get their birth control through a piece of white bread.
Yeah, once a day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every morning. I feel like it's my biggest responsibility in life. I'm like, this is a huge deal. I can't mess this up.
It is pretty important.
Yeah.
Oh man. Another question that we got, Wendy, I'll ask you this one because you were there for, since she was hand raised, you were there for Fiona's first days. Is Fiona aggressive towards humans? Like, since she was raised different than other hippos, you hear kind of stories about hippos can be really aggressive and they can be kind of nasty. What about Fiona? Do we see that with her now that she's getting a little bit older?
I've personally never seen Fiona act aggressive towards any human, not even just her keepers, like not towards any human being. She just loves people. And the only one who's ever been on the receiving end of any of her aggression, I feel like, is like Tucker sometimes. And, she throws down with BB a little bit here and there, but she doesn't usually win those fights. But no, she's got a great relationship with people still. And generally under human care, we don't experience that. Most of the time, from my understanding, the aggression is a result of territoriality and, like, entering a big male space. Since we don't share space with them, certainly not with adult hippos, none of us, I don't think, have ever been on the receiving end of any aggression from any of our hippos.
Mm-hmm.
Even Tucker, who can be shyer and isn't quite as used to people, like, he'll come right up, and his head doesn't fit through the gates like the girls do, but he'll come up and, like, I don't know, he doesn't ever show any sort of aggression or make me feel uncomfortable. Like, I'll just stand there because I know his head can't fit through, and we get really close, and he just, like, sniffs you or looks for food, and then he walks away. Like, I mean, he could be really dangerous if he wanted to, and they are. I should clarify that, but, like, we've never seen them ever show any sort of aggression.
That was my biggest surprise with Tucker coming here, is because you have heard the stories about males being so territorial, and I'm like, what does that look like in, a setting with human care? Mm-hmm. Are they aggressive towards us, through our barriers, or what's the case? And with Tucker, he's also just a perfect gentleman, but nothing at all with Tucker, no.
Yeah, but he could be protective of Fiona. Like, she was right next to him when he comes up close. He doesn't. And BB with Fritz, too. I've been so impressed with how she's just, like, trusting. Mm-hmm. And, we also, another reason they become really aggressive is if they're protecting their calves. And BB's shown a lot of trust, so.
As she should. I think we earned it.
Yes.
Raising her first baby for her, so.
Oh, man. All right, another big change that Fiona's gone through since her last birthday. She's become a big sister. Obviously, Fritz has been born, introduced to the bloat. That's been a huge change for Fiona. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse, depending on the day. Ariana, I'll ask this one for you. How has Fiona adjusted to becoming a big sister? Has it been easy for her the whole time?
I feel like there definitely was a point in time where she was realizing that she's not the only child anymore. She definitely got a little sassy about that, begging a little bit more. But us as keepers, I think we definitely put in more work, gave her some extra cuddles, some extra face scratches, extra goodies, and that definitely really helped her realize, oh, it's okay to be the bigger sister. It's totally fine. But now that Fritz is more in the phase of playing with everything, she's definitely feeling happier to be a big sister where she gets to play with him and take him around the pool, and BB just kind of watches them, have all the fun.
Mm-hmm. BB doesn't mind anymore. She's like, please, just somebody
Just
else.
take
him.
I did notice, I swear I noticed, if people came in the barn and turned their back to Fiona to look at Fritz, I mean, she just had this, look of bewilderment, I'm right here. And I definitely think she's not used to sharing the spotlight, but, like Ariana said, now that they're buddies and they can play and BB allows it now, I think it's probably just added so much to her quality of life to have that sibling relationship that so many of us are familiar with, too.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think it was a shock to the system at first. I remember the first week, maybe even 2 weeks, coming in from overnight, and Fiona would be sleeping at the barrier because BB had to be separated with Fritz overnight. So Fiona would be sleeping right at the barrier as close as she possibly could be to BB. And I was like, oh man, she just misses her mom. But she's adjusted. And I think Tucker helped a lot with that too, because she had him to lean on a little bit once she learned this guy's actually okay. But
it is different. And we can, put our human traits on it or qualities to it, of course, and feel a little bad for her at times. But I think she's doing okay. But
yeah.
It is tough. I'm sure she would love to be cuddled up and be the crook of BB's neck.
Definitely. All right, Teresa, I'll ask you this one. So speaking of Fritz and Fiona, how do you think they compare as kids? Like their sass levels, their personalities?
I feel like Fritz is pretty on par with Fiona, or they're pretty similar. Like he's very very rambunctious, but so was Fiona at that age too. So I feel like they both love toys. They're both pretty sassy, but they both love humans, which is great because we were talking about this earlier about him being mother reared and her being hand reared. You'd think there would be a difference, but he's been so friendly with all of us, and he came right up to us pretty easily, and he's very trusting. So that was really nice to see from a mother reared calf.
I would love to hear from the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo keepers. I could be completely wrong, but based on their social media posts, it seems as though Omo, the other baby hippo, he's a little over a year now, is incredibly shy. I do feel like they have personalities, and I was wondering if Fritz would be as friendly and, kind of sad thinking we won't have the same relationship as we did with Fiona. This kid is the friendliest hippo ever, and I know this isn't an episode about Fritz, but man, we'll have to give you guys an update. He is so fun, and it seems like Omo might be shy, so that just makes me think that
maybe it's just BB.
Yeah, maybe.
We were just talking about that with Thane, about BB just produces some really charismatic children, apparently. It must be in her bloodline. Which is kind of funny, because BB's not, she's not our most outgoing, interactive. I mean, if you have food, she shows up, but it's wild to see the two of them turn out so similar with such different stories and backgrounds, and
but would you agree?
And different dads, completely right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Would you agree though that she's a really confident animal and
Baby
just
is.
So
Totally.
and I think
She's
that
very
might have to
chill.
do with it.
Yes.
Yes,
she's confident in that she rules the roost too.
Yes,
There's no doubt about it.
But I wonder if she just passes that on, the confidence and the outgoingness or whatever. She may not be
she never showed any aggression towards us with him. We would reach right through and try to touch him, and she never cared. She
never
was fine.
cares, at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do wonder, though, if Fritz is kind of able to see our interactions with Fiona, and he's able to kind of pick up on that a little bit, because, they can see each other across the barn the whole time. I wonder if that's something that he picks up on. He's like, oh, that's how humans and hippos interact. That's how I should interact, too. But
and
I don't know that to be the
coming
case.
Right to us, and he's like, she's not nervous around us.
Yeah.
Why would I be nervous around them?
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. All right, Wendy, we got another one for you here. We've all seen the social media posts with Fiona getting her mouth massages. Is this something that she still enjoys, or are her teeth too big? Are we able to still give her massages? What does that look like?
We are definitely still doing mouth massages regularly. My parents were in town and they got to come and they haven't seen Fiona behind the scenes since she was like born.
Oh my gosh.
So it's been almost like 6 years for them. But yeah, I was just doing my, that's our thing. That's one of our things together. And yeah, she still like shuts her eyes and just like leans into it and enjoys it. So it's great for bonding and relationship, between keeper and hippo, but it also develops into like the tooth care that we have to do with them. So it does have a functional purpose outside of like, this is fun for both of us. And we've started working on that with Fritz as well. Fritz also enjoys a good mouth massage, but he definitely tries to like chomp me much more regularly than Fiona
hasn't
ever.
learned the hold it open.
Right,
It'll last
right,
longer.
right.
All right, we got one here. I'll let anyone kind of chime in on this one. We've got same question for Fritz and Fiona. What is their favorite toy? You guys have any ideas, any suggestions?
Like some of Fiona's favorite toys when she was a baby was like the big purple like balloon thing that we had.
That peanut
the
shaped thing?
The
Yeah.
peanut ball, she loved that. And the disc one that was like it was kind of like a big disc balloon
I wish
thing.
we could give those to Fritz.
Yeah, he'd pop those.
or he's
Yeah.
with BB,
I forgot
so we
about
can't.
that purple kind of peanut-shaped toy. I forgot. I've seen plenty of videos of her playing with that, and I don't know, that completely slipped my mind until you
Just
just
like
mentioned
run
it.
into it and bounce off.
She liked everything though. Like she still played with, but she got more variety
Yes.
because she was
Supervised.
Yeah.
Boxes and
Yeah.
sprinklers and all
Yeah.
sorts of stuff she could just play in. Honestly, I mean, I think that they both have the same favorite, but for different reasons. So, Fritz loves this green cylinder that has little holes drilled into it. We can fill it with beet pulp or grain, and they knock it over and they push it around, and the food falls out. So it's a foraging device. But Fritz, I think, loves it. He loves all toys. I've never seen a hippo like toys as much as Fritz, though. And he'll play with them for hours straight. And I think that he likes it the best because it's the smallest and he can get his mouth around it and push it around the easiest. And then I think Fiona likes it the best because it provides her with food. I don't know. Have you seen a toy that you think Fiona likes these days? Like
Just
as an
Fritz.
adult?
I mean, Fritz is like her
Her
big
toy.
plaything right now. Yeah, it seems like interacting with him is incredibly stimulating for her. And then Fritz, I love watching him in the water with a toy because he like launches himself out and tries to it reminds me of like a seal trying to get on an iceberg, or the orcas when they try to anyway. No, anything in the water, watching Fritz is a good time, and he leaves food to go play with.
Oh,
toys.
yes.
He's all about the play right now, just like a proper toddler. So it's a good time watching.
He likes
him.
those stumps in the yard too. He'll play with those a lot.
Oh yeah, the stumps. I've seen him push them in the pool a couple
Yeah.
times. Definitely always a good time watching them. They're hilarious. This one was interesting because, especially on our keeper team, life in general for us has become so Fiona-centric, right? Fiona's this big superstar. Well, this question was asked in the opposite way. Was Fiona a playful baby just like Fritz is now? They maybe have seen the videos of Fritz growing up and they have not seen what it was like for Fiona. So, I don't know, what's the Fiona craze about? Was she as playful? Was she as cute as Fritz? I feel like we've kind of touched on that, but Wendy, do you have some comment about that?
Oh, she definitely as playful.
Mm-hmm.
Fritz has to be a little bit more independent in his play just because we don't share space with him. So yeah, mostly he's playing and manipulating toys and stuff. But Fee, absolutely. She probably ran Teresa ragged on overnights and
Yeah,
stuff.
playing with her in the pool was the best. I
Oh,
loved
yeah.
that.
Yeah, so
I was
much
about to
fun.
say, do you have any certain memories or special times that you remember from those? Because that's such an insane experience. The fact that you got to share space with and hand raise this baby hippo, I can't even imagine.
I can't think of any specific memories. I have tons of videos I can go back and watch. I love that we have those, but I can't think of a specific memory. But just being in the pool, especially when she was small enough that we could sit in the pool with her, that was so much fun. Even though the pool was gross and she pooped in it, no one cared. It was fun.
And you're talking about the baby pool, right? That
Yeah.
blue baby pool. Yeah.
I like the blue baby pool better because it was warm water.
Same.
Swimming with her on exhibit was fun too, but that water was pretty cold. But that was definitely pretty cool, to be able to get in the hippo pool with her in that deep water. That was fun.
I mean, I loved when she would just chase us around. I remember just dying laughing, and one of my very specific memories, there's a video of it out there somewhere, where she's, chasing me through from, the entrance into the building all the way to the refrigerator in the kitchen, and she, can't stop, and she does this turn, and her, as she's turning, her back end runs into the refrigerator.
She's drifting around the corner.
That's one of my favorites.
I used to love when she would just crash out and fall asleep on us too. That was
Yes.
the best. The cuddles and snuggles while she napped. I mean, having your own kid is up there too. It compares, but I was almost about to say like nothing compares to like just snuggling with her when she was little. That was the coolest experience.
Well, nothing compares in the sense that like no one else gets to do that,
Yeah.
right? Like so many people have their own human babies, but like there's a handful of us that can say like we've had a hippo sleep in our arms. Like, that's
Right.
pretty cool.
No, that's incredible. Did she, when she was younger, did she get the zoomies as often as Fritz does? Because I feel like Fritz every single night at close comes in. He's sprinting around that barn like a wild child.
That reminds me, actually, she used to do it so often that I caught it on command. She's too big now, and we don't have enough space with all 4 hippos, but I'd be like, go around, and she would just start trucking it as fast as she could from one and just do this big U shape and come back and just run. Yeah, she used to get the zoomies a lot.
Oh yeah.
Man, she's been fun for sure. So this question, anyone feel free to chime in on, but what is your favorite thing about her? We got a lot of different versions of that kind of same question, but do you have a specific trait or anything about Fiona that you would say is your favorite?
I like that she like responds back to us. Like when you do the blow thing in her face, we make the noise like the like sound in her face, and she does it back to us. I love that she does that because none of the others do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's
Feels
kind
like
of
a real connection.
Yeah, it's kind of like the hippo greeting, right? That little kind of huff they do to each
Yeah.
other out their nostrils. Yeah.
Another thing I really love about her is when you're cleaning the barn and you look over and she's peeping, watching you, sticking her head through there, and you're like, oh, I'll go give you some scratches. And you just sit there and you're like realizing, you're like, I'm petting a hippo's face right now. And she starts licking your hand. You're like, I should be cleaning.
It's so hard to get stuff done when she does that. But yeah, she's the one who will come and watch what you're doing, where BB's never done that. I haven't really noticed Fritz doing it, and Tucker definitely couldn't care less.
He doesn't. I think, just the impact, like I can't think of another living animal on the face of the earth that's as popular as her, or that has the reach, and it's all been so positive for people to, like, hear her story and share, struggles and things like that, whether they've had their own preemies or whether they're going through, like, struggling with cancer and stuff. People find so much strength and comfort and happiness from this animal, and that's so incredible to have been a part of her life and feel like I've had that ripple effect. Like, something I've done has mattered, and that's really cool.
No, definitely. That's really special, especially, like, the connective portion of it, right? Like, people from different countries, different backgrounds, different ethnicities. No matter where you're from, you can love this baby. Well, not baby anymore, but at the time, she was a baby hippo. You can fall in love with this hippo, and now she's 6 years old. How much does she weigh now?
She was, I didn't do my homework. I meant to look up the comparisons with Fiona and Fritz. We'll have to do that with the Fritz update episode. And it was 2268, something around there.
2,268. That is
Yes,
insane.
that was something really easy I meant to do before this, and I didn't. But yeah, right under 2,300 pounds. So she's getting bigger, and we've always said, I don't know where we got this from, but like 2,500 pounds is a small female hippo. So, but full grown. So we think she's probably right on track to become a normal but smaller sized hippo.
And yeah, her growth has definitely slowed over the last year, maybe year and a half or so. It's definitely slowed, but it's still happening, right?
She hits
is still
plateaus
kinda
and stuff,
weight,
and then starts gaining more.
Speaking of Fiona's weight, you mentioned like a full term potential to carry a full term for a female is about 2,500 pounds is what you typically expect. So, do we think that Fiona will ever be able to carry babies full term, since she is kind of a smaller, more petite hippo?
That's one of the reasons we aren't necessarily ready for her to get pregnant, because we are keeping her safety in mind. But it's one of those things that's never been done, just like if there's never been a premature hippo. We don't have anything to go off of, and we're just, like I said, 2,500 is kind of what we think is the smaller end of a full-grown female hippo, and we think that if she reaches that, she would be big enough to hopefully carry a baby full-term safely, but I don't know if the baby would be smaller or if she would have difficulties or not. That's something that, unfortunately, it would be all guesses, in my opinion. I don't know.
Right. Well, and it's at this point, too, with having 4 hippos in our bloat, we're kind of at maximum capacity anyway, so even if she wasn't small right now, I think it wouldn't be a great time to breed. It's nice that we have, like, this extra time for, like, keep her on birth control, let her get a little bigger, more developed, things like that. Hopefully hopefully we'll feel really confident if and when we make that decision to take her off birth control. Like, we will feel 100% that she can handle it, would be my guess. And whether that happens in a year, 2 years, 5 years, no one can really say at this point, I don't think.
Right.
Yeah, that's definitely been one of the things that I admired most about, like, Team Fiona and everyone who was on her care staff at the time was, like, you know, you guys are experts in the field and you guys are collaborating and making the best decisions that you can possibly make, but, like, you didn't have a guidebook to go off of, right? This has never been done before, so you can't just reference back to, oh, the last time a baby hippo got raised, we can just do X, Y, Z. Like, you guys were kind of going on a whim for a little bit, right? Like,
exactly. That's what I was going to say. Like, we can't go ask another colleague at a different zoo, like, hey, how big was your female when she had a baby? I mean, we can ask, like, the zoos that have hippos, we can say, hey, if you've had a smaller hippo have a calf, what was their weight? And find out that way the smallest. And we've talked about doing that. And we're just not in a rush, I guess. But it
that
really
hippo
is.
may
There's
not have had
nothing.
the background of Fiona, right?
Well, yeah, that
being
too, of
premature and
course.
everything, yeah.
Right, but we're people call us experts, but we're like, I mean, no one can be an expert on a premature hippo if it's never been done before. Like, we didn't.
And at the same time, if nobody else has done it, then by default, I guess we would be the experts.
I was about to say,
Because we have.
You guys did it. You guys did
At
it
least
successfully. Like, and you made it work. And Fiona's still here kicking, and that's a testament to what you guys were able to do. So,
I mean, we have to give so much credit, obviously, to the vet staff.
yeah, sure.
All
There's-
of that.
I mean, it was a whole village that took to
Yes.
raise Fiona for
Yes.
sure. Yeah, definitely. All right, last question we've got lined up today. If you could describe Fiona's personality in one word, what would it be?
She's a princess.
Princess. That's funny you said that. That was the very first thing that popped into my mind, too.
Charismatic comes to my mind first. There are a million words I guess we could use to describe her. Inspiring is another one, but I don't know if that's. Well, that's her. I don't know if it's a personality trait, but that's something that her personality does. Is inspire.
It's a
people.
personality trait for sure, I think. Yeah.
I was definitely going to say spunky.
Spunky, that's a good one. Yeah.
I'm stuck on influencer. Because,
Okay.
I mean, because
She
I don't
is.
know if any other animal has this much following, so she's an influencer now.
Sure is.
She really is social media influencer
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
What about you, Mark?
Yeah.
What's your one word?
I mean, I would have said princess was the first one that came to my mind, like Teresa said, just because, like, I mean, if you come to this zoo, you've obviously heard of Fiona probably, and then
Sometimes.
every now and then we meet someone that hasn't. Fair enough.
I hope my face doesn't give it away when people are like, "Who's Fiona?" or ask the question. I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
Joking.
But, like, what other animal, it's kind of like you said, Wendy, like, what other animal at a zoo are people traveling cross-country, even across the world for? Like, we do these tours where people are lucky enough to come and see Fiona sometimes, you know, behind the scenes, and almost never are they from the tri-state area, Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana. They're from Florida, they're from New York, they're from California, all over the country.
I did a few from Alaska.
Alaska, that's, yeah, insane. Like, what other zoo or animal has people travel from that far away just to come see him? Like, they gotta pay
She's
her.
royalty. For
She's
sure.
royalty, that's what I'm saying. They gotta pay their respects. Like,
She's like an A-list celebrity.
Yeah.
At least it feels like it.
well, Jenna, did you have a what can I do
I have
for
one.
this
Yes.
episode? Yeah.
So, it's not really related, but I could tie it in that the hippos like to eat bamboo. But, so what you can do at home, something that I've done, is purchase bamboo toothbrushes. And if you're somebody who's like, no, I need an electric toothbrush, I totally get it. It's easier and probably healthier and that sort of thing. But if you travel and you don't want to take your electric toothbrush with you and you are buying like the plastic ones, you might as well switch to the bamboo. They are much better for the environment. You can pull out the bristles at the end and they're compostable. So I specifically got mine from Zero Waste Cartel years ago, and I just bought 2 boxes and they've lasted me literally years. And I take them when I travel, and it's something that you're using less plastic and again is compostable and will last you a long time. So something easy you can do instead of buying any more plastic toothbrushes for travel, or if you use one instead of an electric one, I suggest getting the bamboo ones. And they do have different like soft bristles or, you know, tougher bristles. So if you need a specific kind, they even have options. And it's a really easy way to make a teeny difference and use less single-use plastic.
No, that's perfect. I love it.
I guess it's not single use. You use your toothbrush for a couple months, right?
Most people do.
Yes. All right, well, thank you guys for taking time to be here with us and talk about Fiona. Does anybody else have any Fiona things they want to throw out there?
Happy birthday, Fee!
Yeah.
Big
Happy
6.
six.
Woo!
6 years with Fiona. All right, well, thanks for listening, everybody, and we hope you have a great day.
Yeah, until next time, take care, everyone. Happy birthday, Feet.